The third project that I have for you for this month, September, could be October, we'll have to see how that goes, but is a flower created with the Flower Folds die. This is Sandy with stampinsandyh.com. Now if you order this project, what you will get is enough fabric pieces for you to cut with the Flower Folds die. To create the flower, what you will need is your Flower Folds die. Hopefully you can see how that looks. And you will need 4 pieces of the middle layer of the flower. So you will get 4 pieces of fabric, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. The largest flower in the Flower Folds die is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and you will get 4 pieces of that. And you will also need 4 pieces of it would be the smallest layer to your flower, but it is not the smallest one on the Flower Folds die. 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. There is a smaller one, 3 by 3, but we are not using that on our flower. So if you order the kit, you will get enough of those pieces. So if you order the, there's 2 patterns of fabric that you can go with. You can either go with Candy Cane or Candy Cane Christmas or Deck the Halls. If you go with Candy Cane Christmas, you will get enough to cut those 4. All right, you will get enough fabric to cut 4 of the middle size and 4 of the smallest, and it will be assorted. There's 3 patterns in the fabric, so the patterns will have to repeat just a bit, but I will make sure they don't repeat more than others, if that makes sense. To do my flower, I use a small piece of scrap. I will talk about that when I make the video to show you how to do the flowers. You will also get a button out of the button pack from the mini catalog, and you will also get a piece of Whisper White, that narrow grosgrain ribbon, and then you will need whatever you want to use for the back. So if you want to use a pin, metallic clasp, you could do that, or if you would want to do a barrette for a girl's hair, you could do that as well. Just a safety pin works too, just to clip it on your clothes. So I hope that answers some questions on what you get with that project, and like I said, it'll be September or October project. Haven't narrowed that down. And my name is Sandy Hovaker, stampinsandyh.com. Thank you. Here, this is Sandy Hovaker with stampinsandyh.com, and I'm going to give you a little information on putting your flower together as part of your project. You are going to get 4 sizes of flowers out of your Flower Folds die. So this is the large size, and we're going to start with that. So you will lay out your 4 flowers. So I got 1, I got it folded in half there. Here's a second. Here's a third, and here's a fourth. So now I have 4 total. What you're going to do first of all is find 4 of the petals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fold them directly over top of the other 4 that are part of the die. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can just kind of finger press those. I don't know if you know this, but if you go like this, put a little moisture on there, and then fold it, it folds a little bit better. I have now folded all 4 of my pieces in half like I told you to do, and you'll notice that this striped pattern is the pattern that is repeating. So here's how you lay your pieces out for your flower. I'm going to start with this one straight up and down like so. Then I'm going to take these 2 petals here and these 2 petals here, right here, and match those up. All right? Then I'm going to take these 2 petals here with these 2 petals here and match those up. Okay? Then I have left the small polka dotted. I'm going to take these 2 petals here and these 2 petals here and match those up. You'll notice that when I do that, it overlaps my first one. See that? So I'm going to have to do a little handiwork here with the video camera, and what I'm going to do is pick up these two from the bottom, and those are going to go on top. So let's see if I can do this one-handed since I don't have my tripod out. Picked those two up, and those other two go underneath. Notice I don't have a very nice looking flower anymore. I need to layer those together a little bit better. When they're layered together very well, you'll see this center has an area in here, but if they're layered together very well, there will not be any hole there. All right? But since all of the layers don't layer exactly on top of each other, what I choose to do, and in your kit will be this little scrap of fabric, I don't know, maybe 2x3, 2x2, something like that. I take that little scrap of fabric, and that whole set of 4 flowers goes on top of there like so. You'll never see that scrap of fabric. If it's bigger than your flowers, when you get all the way to the end, you are going to just cut it down, or if you want to fold the raw edges back and stitch it, you can do that. When you order fabric from Stampin' Up, let me give you a little background. You are going to get a project sheet with your fabric, and these flower pins are one of the projects in there. Okay, there is the first flower pin. Okay, and if you go through the directions that Stampin' Up gives you, they are very good directions. The only thing is the directions tell you to use a hot glue gun. Personally, I don't know if I want to do that because then my pin is going to get so weighted down with the hot glue. So what I choose to do instead, since I have that little scrap of fabric on the back side, is just use a needle and thread and just go up and down and just make sure you go through each piece of fabric once. You can sew as big of thread as what do I want to call it? As lengths of thread, if you want to say, as you want, but you just don't want your thread to be bigger than the button that's in your kit. Otherwise you will see stitches, that's what I want to say, stitch length. Just make sure your stitches are no bigger than your button, okay?